Hello, one and all, and welcome back to TTML Division 2. This is, of course, something of a continuation, I suppose, of the 8th round of the championship at Singapore, since, of course, we did have unfortunately, a bit of a lobby freeze last time out then that kicked us off. End of the broadcast, but now we're back up and running then. Hopefully, this race is going to go just fine. Of course, that means that we're going to have a custom grid set up for the race then. With everyone on the same tyres I was starting on earlier. So let's get into it then. The race, we're just going to be jumping straight into it then. Formation lap will separate us from it. But fortunately, I should say, despite the lobby restart, both of us have Daniel Hoggard and then Michael Edwards as well alongside me. Mike, how you doing, man?
I am doing great, and not for lack of Codemasters trying. They gave us both ever codes, which is why the first broadcast unfortunately went down. But we are back, and yeah, an interesting turn of events because of the lobby needing the restart. The guys in the top 10 now start on fresh compounds of tyres. So those on the mediums now have all the benefits of starting outside the top 10.
Yeah, certainly. Well, the benefit is now, of course, that they're higher up the grid. So that is brilliant stuff for all of those guys then. We are waiting quite a while then, of course, everyone kind of waiting about. They've got to reset everything in terms of their setups. Hopefully everyone remembers to get their setups on, otherwise they're going to be very compromised into a race, especially at Singapore, where our lap times can be separated greatly by how you make the car run. So now we're looking to get everyone, of course, having to rejig their tyre strategies as well. It could as well give the soft runners a bit of an advantage as well, because their tyres now start from base 0, so they can just run along pretty much fine as for what they had before. Now everyone is lined up on the grid. Formation lap in front of us then. Gary B. Moore going to, of course, show the front of the grid. Just have a quick check to the tyre choices. I think it looks just about everything. I think everyone's on the same tyres as before, which is great to see then. Everyone reset then from ground 0. Gary on pole position again. Take 2, mate. Hopefully this time we get...
Yeah, let's hope. Yeah, I mean, with everything getting reset, obviously the source will be... They'll have that extra lap fresher running, so they'll be quicker for a little bit longer. However, you gotta think, for the likes of LMN and Falk, who they put 3 laps onto their mediums, they are going to be loving this restart because they're starting on very fresh mediums now. And of course, with the lobby being restarted, there is an abundance of fresh tyres available to every single driver now.
Yeah, that means the strategies are going to be wide open to everyone then, given how many safety cars and pit stops usually happen at Singapore. It can certainly throw things in their favour out then. One thing to look out for, the Mana P9 Scuba, of course, championship leader, he needs a good start in this race. It is adamant, because even though his disadvantage of tyre wear has been wiped out, he still has a disadvantage of tyre compound, and he's separated from the rest of the soft tyre runners in front of him. So he needs to get in front of Element and Falk early, realistically, but getting through at Singapore is a major challenge. He needs to get it done on the start then. But things can be reshuffled easily on the start then. Here's the turns 1, 2, and 3, very tight, very slow. Then the track dramatically increases in tempo throughout the rest of the first sector. And now as we come towards the ground, I'm not going to bother asking you for predictions. I guess we're just going to keep going as we were before. But now, Gary, coming to the grid then. Be a workable track. If who's going to grab the all-important lead in a turn 1, if you get into turn 1 in front then, it puts you in such a good position for the race then. Because overtaking around here, as we've mentioned already, is so difficult here. So if Gary can hold off E. Morgan, he's in the power seat to control this race.
Absolutely, as everyone now comes on to filter onto the grid, take their grid positions, and of course all eyes will be on that turn 1. And for Scuba, he needs to get past Element and Falk ASAP, and maybe start to put the likes of Wesker and Tijonas under pressure.
It's going to be fascinating as to how it unfolds, as now the rear of the grid settles ahead of the drivers of Singapore. And now at last the lights coming on now. We are 5 lights. And at long last, we're away Singapore. Tionis immediately jumping off the line then. And he's dropping back in the order as the old jogging for position in the midfield then. And dropping back is Laredo. Gary leads by distance. And a turn with an isotonic round. The Ferrari spearing off. He maybe came into contact with his teammate Ryan. It is chaos on the start line. And Singapore the same place stranded in there. At turn 2 as well. But Gary leads Ryan, who's got a great run then. Heading underneath the tunnel through turn 6. And he tries to chase out the Williams in front. Can't quite make it. Falcon Element have had tremendous starts then. Falcon the inside of Wesker. The Matt Timos is putting on the pressure, then Scuba's thrown back then Emir and Tionis, who continues to slide the Tionis back to the inside line. Oh, the Avatar, and then the Red Bull in front of Matt Timos to try and get into that penalty as soon as he can. Then Matt Timos on the move again on Wesker. Wesker will cover it off though, but what a start that Matt Timos has made. Up to P7 already from 12 on the ground. He's flew up and he's gone in front of his teammate. Matt Timos in such a strong position now. And the elevated Falcons jumped up as well. Only 3 drivers remain at the front end as Tionis now attacking Matt Timos again. Can't get through this time. He got slid behind. Matt Timos up to 7th. What a start the Red Bull drivers made. And now he has Wesker all lined up looking for P6. Alongside Wesker's got damage. Wesker, damage on the racing point, and around the outside Matt Timos goes 6 places in 1 lap in a chaotic first lap. The field's been reshuffled, everyone jogging away. Matt Timos gets through of the 3rd highest medium runner. Isotopic Soft again now in the back of the field. It's been a crushing first lap in the Ferrari, and major trouble now at Singapore.
Yeah, and I was going to bring up the fact that I saw a bit of wing damage flying off in turn 1 as we got people into the pits early on, and that is, I believe, Wesker and Dijonis serving his drive-through penalty. But yeah, a bit of a coming together in turns 1 and 2 for a few drivers, and maybe some wing damage for more than one, as AJ has unfortunately lagged out the session once again.
Yeah, this connection not holding up then as we got a bit of a difference in tire choices then from the order. Scoop is only attacking it this time with Alonso. Alonso on hard also making a tremendous start, but to the inside goes the Red Bull and will dispatch easily. He needs to make his way up quickly though. He did not get off the line the way he would have wanted to then. Over on that first lap then, we have several cars in the pit lane then. Noisy AGUI's topic, they've also dived in further down the lap then. Apparently it's saying on my task that Falk has picked up front wing damage there, but I don't think anything is visible. Looks like he is just about fine out there on track. And Element is sticking with the front three here. Gary's not broken away just yet. DRS, of course, active on the next lap there. Gary leads the way. Ryan trying to go with him, but the medium runners already keeping up the softs, so the softs are only going to grade. Even with the advantage of getting that tyre wear taken away, they're still going to be struggling in a few laps, and the Element is right with them then. He'll be very eager to attack once those softs start to go off.
Yep, absolutely. As Element, he's just teetering on the edge of having that DRS down the main straight. Unfortunately, he's just on the wrong side of it at the moment, and obviously the big thing for Element is he doesn't want to be wasting a lot of time fighting with the likes of Falk, who's within DRS. So if Falk goes on a move here, as I believe Ryan is closing up to Gary, so maybe a mistake in the first few corners from our race leader, as DRS is now open, and we'll see that gap start to close in. It hasn't closed in enough for any sort of move, anything going further down the field. We've got Sway on the back of York for P12.
The inside line. Instantly covered by the Alfa Romeo, and Alfa Romeo and Mercedes locked together through 7. Sway stuck on the outside line, has to yield into the turn then, as we got Wesker Cowboy moving up then. That is a noisy moving up then. Cowboy has dived to the pit lane, and it's Ryan now slipping back from his teammate Justin in front there. B. Morgan lost that place at the start. He'll be eager to try and fight back then as AGU's moved past Cowboy's AI car, who's now going to have to try and get back into it then. So AGU, of course, will not be picking up any points unless he can get back in control of his car for that connection. Unfortunately, has not been holding up so far tonight then. Scuba has got himself climbing onto the rear wing of it. Mir runs quite wide though, heading through turn 14, but it's just been able to hold on to the car then, heading down the road. Some battles then throughout the order, but they split up into pockets then. The first lap has ruined the entire field into disarray. Here at TTML Division 2, still watching Scuba behind Amir, who Hughes gets the rear tire, spun up, head through turn 18, but hold on to the car for the moment then. Gary leads, Brian, Morgan, Element, and Falcon. Those 5 pulling clear of the field at the moment. And Element on the charge then. He was much quicker than B Morgan on the last lap, chasing down the Renault, and the Avatar going on the attack then. 3 laps in only, and now the soft tires starting looking to go off then. Element's attacking, he's going to be ever eager to snatch that P3 from the Britain in front of him. He locks up, and B Morgan I think will just have enough in hand down the straight. Element closing all the time. Can he get through then and get himself up onto the podium early in the race?
Yeah, B Morgan there, he's just losing touch with the top 2 at the moment, and he's falling back into the clutches of these 2 medium runners right behind him. And for Element and Falk, this is crucial that for B Morgan to drop out of DRS range of Ryan, so that they become easy pickings for him.
Yes, certainly, but B Morgan is holding on for the moment then, keeping the Avatar and the Williams to be behind them. But look at Element closing on the brakes. Wow! He nearly ran clean into the back of the Renault, who has the grip fading from his soft tyres out there on the road then. Element closes, he looks, but he does not get through just yet. B Morgan able to just weather the storm from behind and further down the order. Noise moving past Wesker. The Racing Point is now having a drop back on those hard tires. Doesn't have the grip in the mediums of Noisy, who presses forward after that damage early in the race. But Gary leads Ryan, who's stuck wait with him. Gary's dominant qualifying pace doesn't look to have quite translated to the race then, and he's got 4 drives by keeping it honest, and into the pit lane. The top 3 dive, they are off. Oh, those soft tires already. Surely Hars, maybe even a 2-stop strategy they're going to run for. Surely not mediums to go to the end of the race then. So if they go for mediums, it's going to be the 2-stop strats. Let's see, it's going to be Hars onto Ryan then. Looking further up the order then. It's going to be Hars to be Morgan as well at the end of the pit lane then. Looks like it's going to be the white walls for all of them. Will they emerge? It's critical to get out. And nice clean air. Looks like they're going to then. So Gary, Ryan, B Morgan all opting for those Hars then. Sticking it out. They're going for the 1-stop. Trying to grab the undercut on the drivers in front now. Now it's up to Element and Falk to really push away then. Tionis shall be in front of Sway then, who's came in early, but he's really suffered at the start of this race as well after getting off the line horribly. He's scooping out, throwing a mare, getting up in a P4, making good progress. Element now leads Falk. These medium runners are going to try press on now, going to try move forward. If they keep within that net range of the hard runners, they may be in a great position. They'll have much fresher tires to attack with further down the line.
Yeah, and I'm confused at the moment because I'm looking at that gap between Ryan and B Morgan. It looks like B Morgan's lost 2 seconds in the pit stop phase.
I'm thinking he might have been held up by the Ferraris he went past. I'm not too sure, but I was going to point that out as well. I noticed how far adrift he was for that pit lane, even with the pit limiter on, and now the Renault has a lot of work to do in this race if he wants to get himself back into it. When will the medium runners there? You said they're going to try and stretch those tires for as long as they can, but down the order then, it's ASC Alonso who's really under threat then. The second highest hard runner in the race at Vapor TTV swarms all over his rear wing and looking eagerly for a way through. Hippoly Boy has right them as well then on those medium tires. Needs to maximise them to keep himself in the race, and TTV makes a slight error through turn 21. It's now for the road then. It's Scuba who dives the Bentley, nearly hits the pit wall, just about keeps it clean. That would have been disastrous, but he's able to just about keep it clean and keep the car moving forward. Up at the front, Element still leads Falcon. These two having locked in battle from their first lap set in qualifying. They have been going at it all the way around the track then as Alonso is still under threat then. TDB chasing him down. Alonso squirming around with the rear wing then. He knows he's going to be under immense pressure at the Racing Point. Chases him down into Memorial Corner. The inside lane is covered. TDB only round the outside then. Can he sweep round then? Alonso's going to move away, but a wheel-to-wheel contact then. The Racing Point claims the inside lane of the Haas, and a turn 8 is going to run him right against the wall here. Now to the inside lane, and a turn 9 still locked together. TDB is round the outside spectacularly, and now that Bully Boy sweeping around the outside of the Haas and into the Singapore sling. Alonso has to yield to the inside lane. Spectacular driving to keep it clean, but TDB gets the place. Bully Boy moving it through. That was brilliant from TDB. What an overtake. He gets over there, the McLaren pressuring him. He looks over his shoulder. TDB moving up emphatically now. Now he is the hardest, the fastest top runner at the moment then. Cruising to the front then on the hard tyres then. Moving up solidly then. 4 seconds behind the next car. TDB's worked himself into a really strong position here in the Singapore Grand Prix.
Yep, fantastic move from the man in the racing point there, and obviously Hibbler boy just taking advantage of the opportunity, able to go around the outside of Alonso there. Alonso losing 2 spots in 2 corners, and he does have a bit of a gap behind him, so he's not under any immediate threat from Jorg in 8th place, which is got to be thankful for that man in the Haas after losing 2 spots in 2 corners.
Yeah, certainly. And so he's going to have to try and work his way back there, but he is slipping back from the 2 drivers in front who look to have just more raw pace at this stage. And the Singapore Grand Prix, CDB still holding down P5 then. Billy Boy trying to get up onto his moving. He's got more battery to use and he's on the overtake now. Closing down rapidly with DRS and into Memorial Corner. TDB will surely know the threat from behind. He looks towards the inside line, does McLaren, but it's not quite near enough to throw a move on the brakes then, throwing down the anchors. He has to still wait behind the 5th place man. It is Alonso is caught adrifted from this group in front. Behind him then, and Net Royce is still running along there. Gary holding back Ryan. They still run at DRS then. Ryan sticking with him. Morgan's got a little bit more pace actually at this stage than both the drivers in front, and he's making up for that pit lane loss, but he's going to try and work his way back and work his way back quickly. 1.9 seconds to get them. Good gap back to Scuba, who has struggled to keep these guys within range in the Red Bull. Then he's not quite been able to maximise his pace. He's just looked a little bit off colour tonight at Scuba. He needs now to maximise the points he gets from this Singapore Grand Prix. Running up behind him then from the front element still leads Falk, and pulling from Matt Tibos. The gap has not come down, at least by the very least then. So Element leads it then. These guys content to stay out. They'll probably stay out to about lap 10 or 11 I suspect before they pull on hard tyres to the end. They'll have a supreme tyre advantage over the race leaders. Try and hunt them down, but they're going to lose out with the undercut then. These guys behind them have them, but if they are out anywhere near Gary Ryan and B Morgan, they're going to end with a real fighting chance with much fresher tyres to draw themselves up towards them and to try and grab the race win out on track.
Yeah, and this is going to be so interesting to see once these medium runners make their pit stops. Where are they going to come out relative to the likes of Gary Ryan, B Morgan and Scuba? Of course, Scuba 5.5 seconds back from B Morgan. You got to think with this undercut, the likes of LMN, Falk and Matt Tibos will be in and around where Scuba is right now.
Yes, certainly. I certainly can anticipate that, and as well as Scuba, if he is out in front, is going to put up any resistance to the men who knows who are going to be a little bit quicker on those tyres. Penalties, the notifications for penalties aren't actually popping up for me, but I can tell you that Jorg Ryan at P2, net P2 I should say, just picking up one. That's going to really hold them back then, especially with Morgan chasing him down. Noisy, Sway, AJU's AI cars, a 5 second stop and go as well. Those are the drivers with penalties at this stage in Singapore. Still NMN leads the way then. Falcon's sticking with him, but he can't do much more than that. I think he's content to just save his ERS, his battery at the moment. Of course, they wouldn't want to lose too much time to the undercut of the hard runners, but at the same time they're not going to be wanting to stay out for too long and or coming too soon I should say, and then giving themselves less of a tyre advantage, so they're going to stick it out there for the moment. Happily Boy and RacingTV then still got a bit of pressure tyres underneath it, but unable to get it quite through just yet. Then the medium's not providing him the grip he needs to get through. Oh, the Dutchman in front of him then, who keeps a hold at P5 at the moment. All the medium runners staying out for now, but look at B Morgan's pace in P11 then, flying up to the 2 drivers in front then, making such great progress it must be said, 1.2 away. At the same that Gary dominated qualifying, he's driving immensely so far to get back up towards these 2 then. B Morgan chasing them down. Gary will get a DRS boost off of the now pit lane bound TTG Jorg. He'll get that boost down the straight. Ryan's still going with him, but B Morgan chasing him down is remarkable in itself. He's got such good pace to move up. Can he get away through it? It's going to be difficult, but the Renault has shown such incredible resolve to work his way back towards this too.
Yeah, B Morgan absolutely flying out there on track. Definitely looking like he's the fastest on the hard tyres right now. And the question you got to ask, is he taking too much out of his tyres too early to catch up?
Well, the question I think it's going to be up in the air all the way throughout the race, because quite frankly the lobby glitch has unfortunately ruined our task system. We can't exactly work much wonders with it, but we're going to have to, I guess, remain in suspense as conditions of B Morgan's tires for now. I don't think he's worried too much about that though. He's going to have to worry about that later down the line. Right now he needs to get back at DRS, which he is also close to achieving. Nearly loses onto the Anderson Bridge. Wow, just keeps the car together, but he was nearly out of shape then. He just about holds on to it, and he's lost some time now, and a lot of good progress over the last few laps has just been undone. So B Morgan's going to have to try and work his way back, and he'll be lucky, he'll be fortunate that he still has a front wing underneath him, but that's certainly not the way he would have wanted it. Falk has dived in, and this could be very, very important. Where does he emerge? How close to the cars in front? Well, the mediums RB coming towards the end of the pit lane then. Neil Williams, man, looks like it is going to be the white ball tires going on then. So he is committed to the end of the race then. Where does he emerge? And what can he do with it then? Falk running down the pit lane then. Gary, I think, will eventually appear over on the right hand side of the track then. But Gary is not going to be far ahead if much yet. There is Falk out the pit lane. He is right with them. He's going to be almost alongside Ryan in the pit lane. Wow, he's right in this, is Falk. That is sensational. And the Williams driver, along with Element, who's even further up the road, have worked themselves right into this Grand Prix. The mediums have just about outdone the Haars. They've not lost any time, and that's why B Morgan into DRS right as well. Now a four-way fight. Falcon a tire advantage, but we know, especially in a DRS trade, how difficult overtaking can be here at Singapore. Falcon's right with these guys, but Element has such a good opportunity here. He's well clear. Matt Dubos needs to come in this lap. It is Adam he comes in this lap then, but you said he's going to be further up the road then. Will Falcon need a sweat undercut on him? Who knows? But Element's right in this. If he puts in a stoking in lap, he could be challenging Ryan, maybe even Gary. If he gets himself out in front of the Ferrari, he's in such good place to tackle the Williams as well. Element needs a big in lap here, but he's in such good position now. He's been thrust right into the fight for the win here in this race.
Yeah, and I'm actually surprised that Falk is this close to these guys after.
Yeah.
After what seemed like great pace on Gary, Ryan, and especially B Morgan, who has already lost DRS to Falk up ahead.
You're already seeing that tire badge there kicking in. Falk is chasing down XL Ryan in from him as well then. So Element, how much is one lap longer going to hurt him here? If anything then. Barreling down the pit straight, we saw how close Falk was towards the back of XL Ryan, and Matt and Element was out of DRS reaching on Falk, so this could be back here. Element charging down the pit lead now, but he is actually going to be further back then, so that one lap undercut has been huge then for Falk, who now drops Element off on the road then, but he will have older tires to contend with. Nevertheless, he chases down XL Ryan and the Ferrari under major pressure, and P6 just about keeps it in shape there, but now the DRS, the ERS coming into play for Falk that tries to claim the inside line. He's going to find a makes contact with the Ferrari. It's going to go brave to the inside line and makes contact, and round they both go in tandem. They spin. Unbelievable then. Falk and Ryan come together, fighting for an MP2 then, and now they're still in the race. They've avoided damage, I think. They're ghosting inside each other then. Please look away from the stream if you're under the age of 18, which I am, unfortunately, as they are now completely locked together. But Falk and Ryan, we have to feel for these guys then, and I think they're fortunate, both going around, that they are somehow still in this race. Falk and Ryan only a few seconds adrift at the moment then, as they're trying to get free from each other. They're still running, ghosting inside. Ryan will get the better of him though, I think. Try get in front. The Falk has DRS. This is one of the most unusual battles I've seen in an awful long time. Ryan will at last get in front then. The unghost, and now the Ferrari in front then. Falk trying to get through, but he will be furious with that then. Up behind Ryan, the question is, can he get up to him? Guy now leads Element. Element now with fresh tires trying to get up to him. He's been given a newfound opportunity in this race. Emir dives in from the lead of the race and going through that pit lane. Can Element chase down Gary's? Gary's lead extended, but Element's still right with him. The Williams driver not out of the woods just yet in Singapore.
No, and if anything, that's made things more difficult for Gary. Having Ryan also go around, and Ryan was a bit of a buffer to the fresh hards behind.
Well, is he going to be for much longer then? The actually, Matt Timos and Scuba have both taken this opportunity. The Red Bull drivers to close up to the back of Falk. So Falk now with Ryan in front then, and they're going to go to Bow yet again then. Ryan sticking further along the outside then, but Falk's going to find the inside line. It's Deja Bowie racing us along the inside line, right up along the inside, and it turns him a Memorial corner on this side. He gets in front. Ryan unable to hold it back then. He did everything to keep a hold of the inside line. Couldn't do it. Falk that gets through with success this time. Second time of asking Kowalski. Now Matt Tibos on fresh tyres. As I mentioned, thrust right into this race now. Finding the rear wing of XL Ryan, who has a penalty to his name as well. But Fout now getting through with all the tyres now as well. But Elemento chasing down Gary. He's got much more pace. The tyres coming in. Element could well win this one. Gary is now going to have to really work hard. And he's making that DRS already. The slipstream, I should say, trying to get in front then. Gary still holding off Element, but Element closing rapidly. In a few laps time, he can look at get through. Element now has a golden opportunity here in the Singapore Grand Prix as they Matteo trying to lunge right, I think, then, who holds on, but the Red Bull threatening at him, couldn't get through then. He has to wait him behind. Right getting the elbows out. He's been in the wars. The Ferrari holds back Matteo, but surely on the fresher tyres, the Red Bull should find a way through and get himself up into that 8th position.
Yeah, and I was just on board as they went into turn 14. Ryan making small contact there with the wall. Doesn't look like he's got wing damage visually. However, I will see if we got the TAS system working, but no promises on that one.
However, look at this now. From P3 in the road, then there's more runners. Pit Element now has Gary all lined up. He's got so much time to do it, but he wants to do it now. Now, with the overtake, with DRS, then he closes up to Gary. Gary coming to the inside lane, he knows the threat. Then the Alvatari possesses, who runs up to the outside lane, the Memorial corner. But Gary this time will cover it off in a turn, and he looks, but he does it, isn't successful. Renius in a turn 8 then. Matimos lunges on the inside line. He almost come together, but Ryan will hold on to the place just about. Matimos has thrown everything at Ryan, but Ryan we've seen with Falcon now. Matimos is proving to be such a difficult driver to get through then, and he is going to fight for every inch of the ropes, every inch of the tarmac out there on the track. Elemental chasing down Gary then. He's on the overtake again. Does he get the lead this time? Gary in the middle of the road then. Element almost died there. Gary covers them off. Now Matt Timos again. Chasing down Ryan. Ryan will hold him back. The Red Bull almost into the back of him. Scuba's now with him. The gap opening to Falk, who's now getting up to B Morgan. It's chaos in this net lead battle. Element chasing down Gary now. Up behind him on the road then. They're a few seconds behind Alonso, who's well down the road from Vapor TTV, who also could be a factor later on in the race when he comes in. Guy holding back Element. He's throwing everything at him as the AlphaTauri. Not getting through yet, but Gary, you said, is going to be so hard pressed to keep the 4th place man at bay.
Yeah, Gary under serious pressure right now from Element, and this battling between the two of them is slowly bringing in B Morgan into this.
B Morgan getting into that DRS as well. Just coming at turn 3, keeps himself in range. Element now has Gary lined up, and he used a loader battery in the last lap for his unfruitful overtaking attempts, and Gary's using that in defense as well. They're trying to keep him behind, and Element is not close enough this time. Gary will comfortably see him off. Matt Timos though on the back of Ryan, who is again to the inside lane. Matt Timos trying to go braver on the outside, and the Ferrari's going to get squeezed out there, and again Ryan sees him off, and everything Matt Timos throws the Ferrari's way. Ryan is able to bat away and keep a hold of P7 for the moment then. Matt Timos chasing him down on the time, but he's almost out of battery. So is Ryan, but his overtaking capabilities have been severely compromised. XL Gary holding back Element now. B Morgan getting himself back into the race, and he was about 3 seconds behind Gary at one point. Now, he is right with him. He's not out of this either. TDB may not be out of this either. When he comes in, probably further down the line, maybe around lap 18, will be the pit stop for the Racing Point. He will dive and try and look for better fortunes down the line then. Element chases the guy. B Morgan now with him. 3-way frames lead, and maybe 4 as Foul gets through then. We could have 4 drivers on the same piece of tarmac. Gary leads the way in this straight, but you sense he's got 3 quicker drivers now bearing down on him here as we reach the halfway point of the race.
Yeah, and Gary also rapidly catching up to Alonso up ahead, and Alonso could be a real thorn in the side of Gary, and he could also be a thorn in the side for Element if Gary makes quick work of him. But Alonso, I feel, is going to be a crucial one for Gary to get past immediately, and hopefully Element will lose a bit of time to that as Matt Tibos and Ryan once again side by side as we go through turns 3. Looks like Matt Tibos may just have the edge. They're going to be side by side coming into turn 5, and this is brilliant stuff. But Ryan with the DRS is going to pull ahead, and Ryan keeps a hold of P7.
just about to get to run through 7, and now Matibos to the inside line, but Ryan is brave on the brakes and they make contact, and now Scuba arriving on the scene, gets alongside his teammate then, and he goes from attack to the fence. Does Matibos, runs it back when he is in a turn 1. There's no team orders here. Red Bull now in a civil war out there on the track then. Matibos holds back Scuba, who now has to swarm over the rear wing of Ryan to try and get away through that. Now look at this, Elemental Gary again moves to the inside lane and breaks remarkably lead, almost runs into Williams. Wow, just avoids the contact. Critically, Gary stays ahead. That was the first real desperate launch from Element, who must be fighting overtaking Gary a bit more difficult than he would have figured before. Gary though low on battery, he's got Alonso in front of him. He may get DRS in the fight. He's going to work his way through quickly though then. The Element went with him. One wrong move for the Williams. We'll see the Alfa Patari through. This is such a high pressure situation. They close in Alonso. Alonso will probably move over, of course. He's not necessarily in a lead fight, but he won't. I don't think he'll let him through too easily. I think he'll just, if Gary gets alongside, he'll try and let him through. But Element is poised to attack that as well. Guy holding back for the time being. DRS would help him, but holding up to the middle sector will not. Guy, I think, will get DRS. I think he'll remain in P3. Alonso holding back. That could really present opportunities for this entire train of hunters behind Gary to attack then. Guy's going to be careful here. He won't get up to Alonso. Overtaking to the middle sector is difficult, but he makes one wrong move, as I mentioned. Element is going to be shooting through and taking that P3 spot on the road.
Yep, and for Gary right now, this is where I think is the most crucial point in the race for XL Gary right now. He needs to be patient, he needs to be aware of Element behind him, he needs to be able to overtake Alonso as quickly as possible. And this actually could be a blessing for Gary staying in DRS, because it will give him a chance to save his ERS backup.
Yeah, certainly. And look at this now. XL Gary holding in on Alonso now. Alonso has it off in hand though to hold it back the further down the road. Westward Cowboy are fighting through turn 9. The Cowboy right outside now. Sway, his teammate trying to follow through. That one doesn't quite come through though. As Gary now lining up. I see Alonso. Alonso not letting these guys through just yet then. And now, as I mentioned, it's the pack of hunters now. Swarming all over the rear wing of the Harston, who holds it back for the time being. Probably a few laps before he'll be wanting to come in as we cross half distance here in Singapore. TTV leads this race and leads by distance. Actually, Alonso is going to bail out here, diving to the pit lane then, and that's going to free up Gary and the rest then to try and pursue now the racing of TTV, who will come out a long way behind these guys, but with a distinct tire advantage. Do not count him out just yet in this race. He's driving superbly so far. He'll get a good gauge as to where he'll come out by where Alonso emerges in. As Falk now rapidly chases down B. Morgan. He's got a penalty, but he's still going to fight for this one then. Coming through turn 5. He tries to chase him down, but B. Morgan's got more battery then. XL Gary holding back. COS can't get through for the moment then. Further down the order. XL Rise holding back Matibos, who cannot get up to him then. Cannot challenge him, cannot charge at him. Still, he is stuck. He is locked in then. P7 and 8 for the Red Bull boys. And with Gary in P2 in the net lead of this race, he is holding on to the moment then, keeping these guys all occupied. And if he can hold the race win, this could be a superb haul of points for Matt Tibos from Scuba. Well down the order. Gary can work himself right back into it. Matt Tibos as well, maybe dropping back a little bit from the rear of the field. Now as the reins trickle down, could this turn into a two-way title fight then? Matt Tibos is in front of the championship leader, but not much more than that. It's Falk now, trying up to B. Morgan, to the inside lane. He's turned into by the Renault. They make contact. B. Morgan holds it around the outside by the tiniest of margins. He stays ahead, but now Falk is established on the rear wing of the Renault. And despite the incident early on, he is fighting for this. He has a penalty. He's been round once in the race, and he is still charging on the rear wing of him. B. Morgan holds it back then. Element trying to attack Gary. No overtakes, but they're all showing signs of it then. Falk attack Morgan once. Can he get through again then? Coming on now to the 18th lap of the race then. Now Gary leads the way, but he's under such pressure. Found out attacking B. Morgan. He'll be going to get past the Renault and try and get up to the top 2 as well.
Oh, we got Matibos now on the back of Ryan. Overtake DRS. He's going to look to the inside for turn 1. Matibos, can he get done this time? They lock on as Ryan takes a bit of the escape route. Tries to look for a switchback, but masterfully blocked off there from Matibos, and into P6 goes the Red Bull at last. And we'll see if Ryan can answer back down this back straight. He is closing up rapidly, but I don't think it's going to be quite enough. Matt Tibos holds on.
Just covers that lane at turn 7 and 8. Gary is still hounding him though. He is looking for any which way through, but I think at last Matt Tibos is ahead, and now Scuba, who's got more battery, he'll be fancying his chances of following through as well then. TDB still leads the way then. From XL Gary, further down the road, Alonso now on the move then to the inside of Wesker. Past Wesker, but runs out wide then. And the racing point, we fancy his chances of fading back. Round the inside of turn 8. That one is covered up by ASC Alonso, who holds on at B11. I think then that TDB will probably emerge just by Bullyboy, who runs in that P10 at the moment. A few seconds adrift of Amir. He'll have a lot of work to do to get back into the race. Tionis has retired in the pit lane, and so he's backed out from the race and had enough of proceedings out on the track then. TDB still leads. He's staying out there on the lap 19. He's here to carry these cars for as long as he can then. Keep them rolling, keep them running. And so he's going to stay out there, but how much is that going to cost him? He may well have better tyres at the end of the race, but he's going to give up potential track position. He'll probably come out, as I mentioned, just by Pulley Boy. He's maybe trying to push out, try to get that gap, and he needs to now Scuba attacking Ryan, going in a turn. That's Ryan actually. Ryan's gone round it, and we're on full course yellow. Is that full safety car? Our VSC is a VSC deployed. Ryan's going to have to dive in. The round goes to Ferrari. What on earth happened down there, Mike?
I'm not sure what went on there. Unfortunately, I was a little bit late. Ryan was already around at the moment I got onto him, but I'm not sure what exactly has gone on. But for right now, all I know is Ryan in the pits, mediums on for the Ferrari. Down the order he'll go, and for Gary, this is a couple of corners of not feeling the pressure, and if he can time this restart well, he might be able to break that DRS.
Well, keep an eye out for that, then LMN will also be looking for his opportunities to jump as well. Now we get underway then, and I don't think that much has changed then. Looks like they're going to stay in order. TDB will have been praying that VSC lost it all the way, but it doesn't look like it's quite going to work then. He's going to have to try and battle on then. He's lost a bit of time actually to the chasing pack. Looks like LMN not quite near enough to Gary just yet, still having to sit and settle for steering at the rear wing of the Williams, who's got such a great opportunity here in the context of the championship then, but Elman is still going to look to chase him down. Then any opportunity to get through, he's going to take it. Both these guys have saved a bit of battery, but Elman more so. He's going to put a 10% advantage over XL Gary, so any opportunity to get through he will take. TB still staying out. He's going for these hards all the way. Could he possibly be going for softs? I don't think that's wise. I think mediums it will be, but he's stretching these tires an awful long way then, and he's losing time to the drivers in front then. Has he left this too late then? Is he going to give himself enough time to move up then? TDB losing time at the front then. Gary trying to chase him down. He won't get up to it, but TDB winning pits. We further down the field than we would have hoped for then. Can he battle back in these final laps? And TDB has still got a lot of work to do to get into this race on the mediums at the end.
Yeah, for TDB, if he doesn't come into the pits at the end of this lap, I feel he may be stretching all the way to the source. However, I do think he is going to be in at the end of this lap, and that will give him plenty of tyre life on those mediums to really begin to push. But he's going to have a lot of cars to get through if he wants to get anywhere near the top step of the podium.
I mentioned he'll probably be out near Heavily Boy. Let's see how that is going to unfold. They have a distinct tyre advantage that he can run through, of course. But let's see how that's will unfold then. Over the front of the race, TDB leads the way still then. He's actually maintaining the gap somewhat to Gary. He's got really good pace in those hards. He was able to gap Alonso easily. But how much is that going to cost him? Because track position is still king here at Singapore, and he's going to give up a lot of it by coming into the pit lane as he has to do further down the line. And still, this second through fifth battle, this train still sits poised and raring to go, raring to go to war. But Gary has covered off all the offences despite Element's fresher tyres. He's been able to cover enough them. And B Morgan likewise to fall behind it. TDB now in a loss, and this is a major moment of truth here in Singapore. He led the race by about 8.5 seconds. That gap, of course, will dissipate. He will go in surely for a set of the yellow wall medium tires. He's going to fit on. Where will he emerge? Let's see what he can make with it then as he heads down the pit lane, limited to 60 kilometers an hour. He'll be itching to get onto that throttle pedal and caravan himself forward now. Coming in, the pit lane now. I mentioned he'll be near Heavily Boy. He'll be just behind the McLaren and perfectly clean air then. He's going to settle in, but he almost runs over the pit exit line. Just keeps it together. Now he emerges, and now he'll look to go on the attack then. So TTB now try to chase that Heavily Boy. Can he get through then? He gets through Heavily Boy in a minute, but the gap up to Scuba is so immense that even with incredible pace, I'm not sure if he'll ever be able to chase down the 6th place man.
Well, at the moment, TDB about 11.5 seconds behind Scuba right now, and Scuba on the back of Matt Tibos, who I think is beginning to close in on the top 4.
Ever so slightly, he has got a tire advantage over Gary, who leads the train, remember, so I would say, and he is dragging Scuba with him as well. Element pulls out the slipstream of Gary, but still biding his time, and Gary is showing such phenomenal speed to keep these guys at bay, despite the fresher tires that Element has underneath him. Let's see if he can maybe try to find a way through. CDB on the attack already, round the inside of Heavily Boy, easily dispatches over that McLaren. Up goes CDB, that's immense speed there to close out that gap already. On the lap at turn 14, he gets through. Next up is Emir, 277, just to put him on the road. So TDB charging late then. He's got just over 10 laps to make it work. Can he get through there? Can he get up towards the leader's end? Emir should be in certainty, but can he chase down that near 8-second gap to Scuba further up the road?
That's going to be the question for TDB. Right now, Gary's still doing a good job of holding off this onslaught right now by the Alpha Tauri of LMN behind, and the pressure for the man in the Williams is excruciating right now. As here we go, DRS wide open again. Can LMN find a way past? No, he's got to stick behind the Williams for another time around, and I've been noticing that gap is starting to close down. Matt Timos, he's in that penalty range of foul for 4th.
Yeah, P4 will be a very useful result. Scuba will be dreaming and trying to get within that as well. He's still sticking. And his teammates, DRS, TDB now on the rear wing, on the mirror then towards turn 10. He's going to go for it into the Singapore slide. That's such a dangerous place to overtake. He finds the inside line. Through goes TDB in a 7th place. Then brilliant, brilliant. Now he's through already. He's got such a pace advantage that he is utterly flying out there as TDB then. Moving his way further up the order. 7 seconds out of the gap. He's flying. I'm optimistic. He can maybe chase these guys down now. P4 maybe on the car said, but overtaking we know is difficult, and Scuba still has DRS off his teammate in front then. Garley's Element. Element was closer than ever on the lap further down than a lap 22 then. But we're running down the laps of the race. Gary keeping it at bay. Does Element have anything to fight with? So far he's not been able to have a major attack at Gary. He's had a few lunges, but able to get through. So Gary holding back for the moment. He looks poised to the race victory. Can Element find a way through though as we head to the final 9 laps of the Singapore Grand Prix?
Only time will tell, but look at how much Matt Tibos has been able to close up on that previous lap. He's now under, well, around 1.8 seconds behind. He's closed up by about a second.
Maybe just 1 or 2 laps more to be within the DRS range then. And poised to attack himself. Can he get through where Element and Falk haven't been able to? Let's see what the Red Bull can do then. Is this going to be the stuff champions could be made of? TDB is flying behind though. He's over a second quicker than everyone else on the track then. Currently, he sits at the moment. Just looking at his gap to lead, it's about 10 seconds. He might be with these guys come the end of the race. TDB's pace on the mediums is nothing short of mesmerising. He may have stayed out a little too long, but now he is charging on the yellow wall tires and moving through rapidly in the race. Up at the front, Element trying to set one exit off at the hairpin at turn 13, but Gary has the answer to everything. Ryan moving past Noisy further down the order then. He does get a place in a P12, but he'll be thinking of what could have been that mistake. Held him back, but it released Matt Tibos and Scuba, and Matt Tibos still chasing down the drivers in front then. 1.7 the gap then as he careens through that last sector. Ever going to chase down that gap now as it gets hunted down towards the top 4, who still run almost as one out on the track then. 1, 2, 3, 4. They sit in formation then, sitting away, but Gary heads the train, heads it at the moment and spearheading this lane in the further field. Guy holding the lead. Element trying to get up to him then. 4/10 to the gap. Can Guy hang on to this? It would be critical for his championship then. He leads the way. As Scuba now, Matt Tibos. He takes the lead of the Red Bull pairing now.
Yeah, Matt Tibos moving out of the way of Scuba and letting him go there.
And look, just look at where TTB is then. He has gained such a remarkable amount of time. He's right in it a lap ago. He was 10 seconds off the race lead. And now, unbelievably, he's just 6 seconds away. I've no clue he's chasing that much of a time, but he's right there with him. Matt T-Boss looks content to sit behind his teammate then, and he knows the real threat could well be TTB after all this time. The Racing Point reels the two guys in at such phenomenal speed to the inside line. Alonso will look at him, boy then. The rubber cars are straight back in the exit to the exit of turn 8. Alonso will cover the line, going into the air, better keep a hold of that 9th position, but he has a penalty. He's going to have to try and get that gap out then. But TTB's pace is nothing short of phenomenal. He hunts down Matt T-Boss and Scuba in front then, gets onto the back of it, but can these Red Bulls with such pedigree hold him back then? Matt T-Boss now is going to have to go from hunting down the leaders to on the defence from the midfield then. It's TTB gets onto the back of Matt T-Boss, looking for a way through. What a phenomenal drive for TTB. Can he get through? It would be brilliant if he pulls through then. What potential the Racing Point has in these final laps of the race.
I have no idea who is going to walk away with the victory here. We got TDB, who's absolutely flying all over the back of the Red Bulls now. And all three of these guys are in that 3-second time penalty of Falk, who's currently in 4th. And we still have this 4-man chain for the race. Who is going to walk away with the win here today?
It could be anyone. Phenomenal stuff there now. TTB lining up Matt T-Boss CFC. Can he find a way through then? Coming in on turn 5. The exit is going to be out of it for the pair. The Matt T-Boss will try and hold it back. Then he's got a little bit of battery, but not much then. As now foul, attacking B Morgan. At last for B3 dummies to the inside line. On the radar, the big contact then. Wheel to wheel rubbing. Now, in a turn 8 then. The red holds the inside line, working the Williams and way towards the wall. They are locked together still. In a turn 9, foul with the inside line. And at long last, the overtake is done for Falk. Negative on 10 element. He's still right in this one then. Even with a penalty, he's going to hunt for everything he has now on the rear wing of element. He's been right with him all the way through. Now TDB with Matt T-Boss just in front then in the Red Bull, but DRS is enough for Matt T-Boss to keep him behind. Wants to run out the hairpin like for a pair of him. TB is close, he's very close, but he's not using his battery as Matt T-Boss says that. He's biding his time, being patient, and he's right in this now. It's almost out now. Oh, Matt T-Boss a slide. TB almost runs into him in a turn 16. He almost attacks. Matt T-Boss will hold him back then, but the Racing Point swarming all over him then. And Scuba now getting up to the race leading train. Unbelievable drama here. What a race finale we have in our hands then. 6 laps to go as they come over the line. Gary is led virtually the entire way with Element chasing him down. Tionis about the session then, but TDB now with Matt T-Boss just in front. DRS, but he's not near enough. Matt T-Boss doing a sterling job of keeping him behind, but with no battery, you said it's a matter of when, not if. Matt T-Boss under pressure. TDB charging, but he's hit him over the Red Bull, not been able to get through just yet.
Yeah, I think this is why TDB wasn't using his ERS on the last lap of DRS. He's waiting for this opportunity, knowing that Matibos is low on ERS, and here he comes. The Racing Point, he's going to look to the outside. Can he pull it off on the mediums? And yes, he can.
Superb! TDB flies yet again. Alonso further down the order, trying to do the same move with Amir, but this time Amir aggressively covers it off. Keeps hold of P8 for the time being then, with the Haas chasing down from behind. Pretty much everyone down the field has got penalties apart from basically this racing trade, besides Falk, who still holds in an element, and he looks like he's got the best pace out of this front quartet, and he looks to the inside line of element and gets pinched on the inside line as TDB now attacking Scuba alongside the hairpin as well then. Can he get 2 Red Bulls in 1 lap then? The Racing Point going down the outside then, and a turn 14 is nose in front then. Scuba on the inside line, trying to get up to him, round the outside for the second time lap. TDB is superbly working his way through in a P5 now, when the racing is in sight. He has a golden dream of a race victory here even. 4 drivers to beat now, with better tires than all of it. Isotopic out the session, down the road then, and it's a full course yellow. Is that a VSC or a full safety car then?
VSC.
I'm trying to say a full VSC neutralising the race. take a breather, because things are about to kick off then. 5 laps to go. Gary leads the way. Element going with him. What an incredible race. And TTV's now right in the racing hunt. Can he get through? Could it be a dream race victory here for TTV from way back in 14th on the grid then? He says round the wing of B Morgan. TTV has such a great chance now for a shock victory here in Singapore.
This has been a fantastic drive from a lot of these drivers here today. Every single one of them deserves the podium spot, but who is going to get it? Who is going to get this race win? I have no clue.
It all comes down to this. Element close to the Gary whenever, but he's been staring at the Irishman's rear wing all throughout the evening. He's not been able to find a way through. Falcon behind, trying to pressure. TTB now, right with B Morgan, and he's got a good run coming into turn 9 and in Singapore slide. We've seen him overtaking him before, but he's not alongside. B Morgan will hold it back, runs way through turn 10, but there's no way through to turn 11 either then. So difficult to overtake to this section of the track then. We saw Long John Scuba on the last lap then. B Morgan trying to cover him up to the inside. TTB goes again on B Morgan, who's stuck isolated on the inside line. Through goes TTB again. What a charge! Leading the race. That was another one down. Falcon now to beat. He has the penalties on the podium already. He can stop there, but he sniffs glory. He sniffs a race victory here. Falcon next up. Can Falcon hold it back then? Element trying to get up to Gary. He could save his winning chances by chasing down the Williams. Gary though, even if TTV goes up to him, we've seen him defend all the way throughout. Element has been quicker virtually the entire way, but still been unable to get through. Now Vapor TTV tries to come up to Falcon, who runs the limit way through turn 21. Then the Williams, I think that's enough in hand though. In front of him now, 4 laps to go in Singapore. Gary leads the way. Element trying to chase him down then. What drama here? Can TTV get this done? And he's so close that he snips a race victory. He's way there. Can he get through then? 3 drivers to get through now.
This is this has got to be one of the most exciting final 8 laps I've seen in Division 2 this season.
Look at Falk, he's attacking Element and who feels the need to cover the inside line. Now B Morgan's throwing back then, it's down to 4 I think over the front of the field then. It's B Morgan's tyres. You mentioned him pushing them hard at the start of the stint. Now looks like that's coming to blows now. Alonso trying to attack and Mir now around the outside, down the inside of Tarney. He holds out of the line and forces the Alvatari almost into the wall. He gets through. Now TTV on Falk. The last 2 laps have been rewarded with golden moves down the inside. Oh, the airman, but he's too far from Falcon now to surely make that manoeuvre stick. So the Williams will hold it back now as they punch out of the hairpin at turn 13 to another big stop at turn 14. Falcon has enough in hand. Falcon's been in the wars all afternoon. He will not lie down except a manoeuvre from Baber. TTB behind then. 3.5 to go. Gary leads the way. TTB holding in on Falcon, who holds it back then, covering his every move. But Baber TTB is right there with him. Element looking at Gary. They all bunch up then. The top 4 covered by a second. What a remarkable conclusion. And Gary leads the way. Can he hold on to it? He's got 3 drivers still holding him down. This time with TTB on better tyres and hiding down Falk. It could come down to these 4 then. Any one of them could win this race. Then Gary still leads, but his chance of holding on to it now, his effort to hold on to the lead are tougher than ever. Now he's got 3 drivers right on him and ever searching for a way through them. 3 to go in Singapore.
This is incredible as TTB all over the back of Falk once again. You've got to feel that he is going to be close enough now out of turn 5. Is he going to be able to make a move down the inside into 7? No, he's just dropping too far back. Element unable to make a move as well as B Morgan. He's still just holding on to this train, and Scuba also in DRS of B Morgan holding on as well. So the top 6 bunching up as TTB. A fantastic run out in 9, but not close enough to try it on Falk into turns 10. Let's see if he can get at the hairpin. As it looks like Element gets a little snap of oversteer.
He's going for it!
Touch. Oh! TTB and Falk locking wheels. And Falk. Oh, this is so close.
Oh, they make contact. Coming in at turn 14, Falk brutally holds the possession, and that's isolated the top two now. So now, Gary Nelman may have it up in hand. That may have been TTM's last chance. He's inevitably, even with the tower advantage, he is running out of laps here in Singapore. And so Falk trying to hold it back then right to the line, and if he can get DRS, he may be able to save. That's P3 out on trying to, but that one penalty is dropping him down to P7 as it stands right now. Out of turn 22 for the third to last time in the race, then 2 laps to go. Element close to the guy, but still Guy with more ERS is doing enough to hold on now, doing what he needs to do. Still, TTB hunting down Falk. Falk with the best runner at turn 3 then. TTB is getting desperate. He's using the last of his battery. All these guys have used more than they can spare now in this race. Just a straight run to the line now. Less than 2 laps to go. TTB now attacking Falk again. But Falk has enough. Elemental Gary. That doesn't come through either. And so the overtake's not coming through for these guys then. It's all coming down to this. Gary in front now. Could it be a fairy tale victory here for the Williams? He runs clear to the front. Element's not been able to get through just yet then. Gary holding it back then. He has the race win in hand. Can he see it through for just a lap and a half more?
Well, for Falk right now, he is currently third on track, but looking at the pen situation, he's going to drop down to 7th. That's how close the top 7 are to each other.
Look at TB, he looks for the exit, he's still hunting for this, still dreams of a race victory. If however distant they may seem now to the inside line, he is not near enough. Falk will still just hold it back by the slimmest of margins, heading into turn 16 for the second to last time in the race then. Everything now to be defended. TB's going to go run onto the grandstand. He's going to go level with Falk then. Makes caught on the inside. Somehow they're both to the wall. Falk goes on around the outside. TB attacking again. Desperation getting in for the racing point, but the manoeuvres just do not come through, and he loses the rear of the car. He may have to sail for P3 in this race then. LMN, he may have one last chance of Gary, but Gary has seen him off all night long. He's 4 tenths clear. On to the last lap. Now, can LMA get up to him then? Half a second the gap then. Guy punching away. Both of them now, the last of their battery reserves going into the action then. On this last lap, Gary, he's held up Element all the way through, and he's got half a second in hand now. DRS and overtake for the Avatar. He's not near enough. Gary now clearing away. He's got the gap he needs now. Just has a hold over 2 seconds. So Gary now on the verge. And Scuba attacking B Morgan. Last minute to the inside line. Runs about wide. B Morgan off the track on the outside, still fights it on the inside, and a turn 8 gets in front of Scuba, who now is on the threat for his teammate who runs through the exit of turn 9. He can't get through either. Scuba holds on. I think that's Meanwhile spilling into it now. Matty almost to the inside. He's going to be led through by his teammate then. Scuba giving up a place and compromising his own championship ambitions. And TTB nearly goes round in the foreground. He backs out of it now. I think the race went joined to a close now. Gary somehow has led the field away and is now just 1 sector away. Elman has put him under such immense pressure. 6 less laps in the tower as he's used that to pressure him, but not to overtake him. XL Gary now coming through. He's come under such immense pressure in this race then. The entire field has hunted him down all the way to the line. But the Williams driver has answered every assault thrown at him then by the furious charge of Elman. But it's not going to be enough. 2 corners to go. XM Gary gets back in a championship fight with a win here in Singapore. Brilliant. Gary wins. LMNT to be on the podium then. And after that, I'm going to need to lie down in a cold bath. What a race. Gary, though, a critical race win. He is right back in the championship now.
Yeah, and Matt Tibos and Scuba not jumping Falk on his penalty. So they finished 6th and 7th.
Critical points taken away then. Matt Tibos from Scuba Net, who allowed his teammate through on the last lap then. They're P6, P7, Alonso P8. Bully Boy P9 on debut. Emira's 10th place from Ryan. What could have been? He finishes 11th. Your P12. Wesker crosses 13th. Noisy, Clawboy, Sway, AGU. They round out the finishers then after what has been an astonishing Singapore Grand Prix. That is the end of it then. And it is Gary on top tonight. And a big dent into the championship lead of Scuba. Going to come down there. Matt Tubos, I don't think has scored enough to work his way right into it. What a race though. And I would say then, after all that racing then, that I would say is the best race of the season.
It's gotta be a contender for race of the season. Me personally, I would definitely put it up there. This is why I love Singapore.
I don't know. In real life, it tends to produce quite dire racing, but every single league race I commentate on in Singapore is always electric and superb. TTP driver of the day, and I think that's deserved. After that, then work his way through the field, then, but just maybe that one move on Falk that didn't come off cost him a chance of heading for the race victory here. But you cannot discredit Gary. What a race win under such pressure. Everything Element threw at him, he responded to, and that is it a champion's drive. We're just going to have to wait and see and keep going to the end of the season. 8 rounds in the books then, just 3 to go. And the Drivers' Championship hangs in the balance then. It may well be coming down to a 2-horse race. Matt Tumos needs to clutch up some great results to get himself right back into it. But let's run through how things will stand after that race. There is the winner, XL Gary. To the front then. We're over 50 minutes of racing. The drivers will be exhausted. I think we are as well. Do you want to get them in for interviews then? I'm quite looking forward to hearing from these top 3 then, but I think everyone's quite knackered after that one, especially with the lobby restart, Mike.
Yeah, I'll try and get him in now.
I
was just looking at the gap, the championship. 19 points Gary has gained on Scuba here.
So, it is now coming back into it. We saw Scuba, he had an over 40-point lead 2 rounds ago. That has been largely cut down, and now XL Gary is right back in the hunt. We will get that, hopefully all of our top 3 in for an interview then. It was a phenomenal display from all of them then. They put up a real gutsy display, and they put up the show that we were all hoping to see from Singapore. And so I'm guessing Mike, you'll just look to try and get these guys in too. I don't know, Gary's up for an interview. Certainly. So we can maybe hear from him. I think TB certainly will be as well. I'm not entirely sure about LMN, but we'll see how that is going to unfold. Certainly, a definite contender for best race of the season. That then, all the way to the line, they fought. Wasn't too much overtaking, but the sheer intensity of that fight really made that race. But in the end, XL Gary, when the dust settled, he was on top. And he's delivered a crushing display here to move himself right into the championship fight. Scuba's not out of it yet, and we're just going to have to look forward to how the rest of the season is going to unfold. We're getting right into the ragged edge, right into the bitter end of the championship fight. Next race is going to be coming to you, I believe, from Mexico. Yes, Mexico is going to be the next round of the championship. Round 9 then, next time out. What do you expect from that, Mike? How do you reckon things are going to unfold next time out?
Mexico, a track that does promote a lot of overtaking, so we'll see if that's going to follow the footsteps of this race and be a race of the season candidate.
Yeah, we're just going to have to wait and see. We have 2 of our podium finishers and to the party now. We have Gary and TDB. I guess we'll get things kicked off then. First of all, with you, Gary. Obviously, pole position by Elements in here as well. Great. We have all of us in for the interview. Starting though with you, Gary. You know, starting off at the front of the grid. Run us through qualifying, because qualifying time was mesmerising. Looked like no one else could even get near you at any point throughout that session.
Yeah, I was quite surprised with my pace advantage to everyone else. I thought maybe people were holding back a little bit to start on mediums, go for a medium lap at the end, but no one did really. That was their pace in general. So yeah, I was quite surprised. That was my PB in practice anyway, so I managed to match my PB, which is always nice. But yeah, I was not expecting that gap in qualifying, and I'm just glad I managed to get pole. Some extra valuable points needed, so I'll take it.
Your margin of qualifying was just over half a second, and I think your gap to the nearest car behind you was less than that for most of the race. What was what was it like going throughout the race? Because you were under constant pressure. First from Ryan, from Morgan, and obviously from our podium setters, Element and TDB. So what was that like all the way throughout then? What pressure were you under then, and how much were you willing yourself to bring that one home?
That was one of the most mentally pressured races I've ever done. From lap 1, I didn't get a breather. Sorry, I was just like taking it quite easy. I was trying to just look after the tyres a little bit and not do anything stupid. And then on the hards, pretty much the same. Have a consistent pace. Just I didn't need to win by 5 seconds. I just had to win by whatever margin. But yeah, so I just took it nice and calm, and it paid off looking after tires at the end, because LMM, of course, doing the yacht strat, he had much fresher tires, and me just looking after the tires first half of the race really helped me and allowed me to stay ahead of him just about at the end.
Yeah, obviously, I think I ask you this just about every week you're in here, but with this result, you've cut that gap to Scuba hugely in terms of the championship. Scuba only P7 in this race. So, what are your thoughts heading throughout the season? Are you optimistic then? 3 rounds to go. You still sniffing that championship? You still think you could bring it home?
Always optimistic. Always optimistic. It's gonna be very difficult. I need Scuba to have 3 more races like this, basically, and I need to win, I guess. I'm not sure what the gap is now, but I've definitely gained quite a lot on him. I got pole and won the race. I couldn't really do anything else from that, so I just got to do that for the next 3 races. I'm confident in myself. I know I can do this. It's not impossible. It's going to be very difficult, but yeah, I back myself against Scuba, so hopefully I can come out on top in the end.
Mike, you got anything to add?
Yeah, 19 points is the point swing that you gained on him tonight in the championship. So that's fantastic. It's going to bring a good climax towards the end of the season. But yeah, that race, it just seemed like absolute on the ragged edge throughout the entirety of the thing. Like, I honestly, what is your mental state now after a race like that?
I need a shower, man. I need a shower. But yeah, like I said, that's definitely probably the most mentally tough race I've done in a long, long time. LMM put me under insane pressure the whole race, so GG's to him. And yeah, it's just insane. Like, tires at the end were really crying. They were really bad at the end. I don't know. Traction out of turn 3 and 4 was very bad at the end of the race, and that was the thing. I was just really focused on the traction zones of 3, 4 and the hairpin, because obviously they led onto the straight, so I wasn't really pushing everywhere else. I was just focusing on those ones and getting the most out of them. And then to come the end of the race, the tires just wouldn't help me in those areas. But thankfully the race ended as it did, because you had people like TDB catching up as well on fresh and medium, so I was just begging for the race to end, and thankfully I did with the win.
That's fantastic to hear. We'll move on then to the rest of the drivers. Next up, LMN, or Lemon, I think, is you're more commonly known as throughout the radar community. Well, run us through what happened tonight then. Obviously, you opted to go for those mediums in qualifying, and you managed to get yourself very high up the grid and give yourself a great position. How optimistic were you ahead of the race then, you knowing that older strategy was really going to push you up in front of the soft runners maybe later on?
Yeah, I'm really comfortable with Singapore. Actually, is one of my best tracks, I would say, in terms of race pace. But I'm not really comfortable in quali. But today, my plan was to just take some slow laps on the soft tire, just to feel the track and get in the rhythm, and then running on a medium for the last 6 minutes it was, I think. And make 2 runs on those.
Obviously, it worked out fantastically for you in qualifying. Of course, we had a lobby restart, then we got into the actual race, and you got yourself into a potentially winning position very early on, of course, going onto those hards and putting immense pressure on Gary, as you had mentioned. What was that? What was the experience like? Because you were basically staring at the back of his car all the way throughout most of the race then. How was your run out, and did you ever think for a moment you might be able to find a way through and try and get that race win out on track?
Yeah, it was a tough one. I felt like I had the pace for P1, but GG to Gary for making it home. I just couldn't find the gap to send it on him. I thought it would be too risky to maybe get some damage, or I wouldn't risk that. But yeah, all in all, a tough race under pressure, just all the way. So definitely the toughest race on the Canada, that's for sure.
Yeah, of course, Singapore, you guys were at it for well over 50 minutes, so honestly, fair play to all of you for making it round. What about next week, though? You're going to be racing in Mexico next about. How do you feel about that track and your chances then? Are you comfortable around there? Are you confident of another good result?
Mexico is it's the worst track for me actually. So
Oh dear.
I'm not really comfortable at there. So now, but I have to make the best I can. Yeah, I'm at practice up to the race and see how my pace is, and trying to have a good rhythm, really good setup, and then I look forward.
All right, and Mike, anything else from you?
It seemed like you and Falk were pretty much, you two were literally glued together for the entirety of the race. I know you was close to Gary for most of it, but you and Falk were absolutely glued together from start to finish. And he was a bit of a rear gunner for you with TDB at the end.
Yeah, he was on me all the time as well. So I was literally boxed in between Gary and Falk, so constantly under pressure.
Yeah, so my question was like, how was it dealing with not only the pressure of you trying to overtake Gary for the lead, but also dealing with the constant pressure from behind as well? Because you had B Morgan at one point, you had Falk for a lot of it, and then you had TDB towards the end on those mediums flying through.
Yeah, it's just maybe I don't know his name, that guy in the Racing Point. I don't know if he's new, but I think he's pretty quick, and he was actually able to catch up to us and make a train as well. So we were 4, I think. But yeah, just tough. I think I need some air after this.
Well, thanks very much for your thoughts after that race. We'll move on then to our third place finisher, Mr. Vapor TDB. So obviously you started off, you went for that alternate strategy on the hard tires after qualifying outside the top 10. What was your inspiration for maybe going for that strategy? And of course, how are you feeling in the early laps of the race? Of course, getting to the race lead, what moment did you realise that this might actually work?
Oh, let's start off with qualifying. I got damaged in all 3 of my runs, so
no.
I was hoping to start top 10, but I just got damage everywhere. And I was outside of the top 10. I was like, yeah, I'll just do hards and see what I get. And I guess it worked out pretty well in the early stage. It was very chaotic. A few people around me got damage, and I found myself behind Alonso. Stuck behind him for a few laps. He had some great pace, and then I believe he got damage because he hit the wall. And after that, I just tried to continue my pace, and I got a lot more confidence with every lap I did. So yeah, I felt pretty confident on the hards actually. I got XR Ryan in my who was it? I don't know. Someone was saying in my ears to bit earlier, and I was like, nah, these hards feel good. I don't want to do the mediums, and I just continued, and I guess it worked. But, yeah.
Yeah, well, how enjoyable was that final stint though? Because you came out kind of at the in the mid pack, and you worked your way all the way up to the lead. How fun was it having that pace advantage? You pulled off some cracking overtakes in there, it must be said. Then, what was that like then? And at any point do you think, because the race win was right there in front of you, do you think you could maybe snatch that? Were you maybe thinking of glory at one point near the end?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun on the mediums. I had pace advantage. I was like 2 seconds quicker a lap in the early stages. I guess I just made some couple of clean overtakes, but in the end my tires were starting to drop off a little bit, and it's very hard to overtake in a DRS terrain. I tried my best. I think do 3 moves, all 3 failed, and at the end I just took a beatery. I didn't want to risk anything major and just score some solid points, I guess.
Yeah, certainly, and really good showing from you here tonight. Mike, do you have anything to add as well?
Just one question. What was your favourite overtaking spot? 2 and 10 at Singapore Sling or the hairpin?
I would say the hairpin. It's beautiful. Take a wide line and you just send it up the inside. Like, if you have the grip advantage, it's very nice to overtake there. I make the most of it. Yeah,
we certainly saw you make. Oh, go on, Mike.
I was just going to say, it was great watching the overtakes into the Singapore Sling and the hairpin. It was just incredible seeing your pace and the way he was catching up to the the top pack. It was incredible to watch, and obviously again both of the moves done on the Red Bulls. I think you got both of them in one lap as well. I think that was a fantastic moment as well.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, thanks to all of our podium setters for your time. Great to hear your input after that frankly grueling Singapore Grand Prix. I think it was bad for us in the commentary box. I imagine it was even more exhausting for you guys out there on the track then. Before we go off the air, I'm going to come to you quickly, Mr. Michael Edwards. Who would your driver of the day be for today, and any other final thoughts after that cracking Singapore race?
I mean, I kind of have to agree with the game, just for the simple fact TDB came from pretty much towards the back end and was at one point a strong contender to take the win, but obviously unable to get the job on foul. Had to settle for P3, but also, I mean, Gary as well at the front, controlling everything from start to finish. It was brilliant to see. So you could flip a coin, either one of them.
Well, I guess we'll run with that then ahead of things, and I guess that's going to be it then for the 8th round of TTML Division 2. Thanks to all of you for sticking around. Of course, it's been probably the longest stream that we've had, of course, between two streams, but it's been a bit exhausting. Nearly 2 hours been on the air. I think it's about time that we wrap things up. So thanks to Michael again for standing in, for getting in alongside me. It's always a pleasure to commentate alongside you. Thank you, of course, to the drivers that have joined us here in the interview box after that fantastic race, and hopefully there's going to be more where that came from next time out in Mexico. Keep an eye out as well for more from TTML D5 then to wrap up this round of races then at 8 PM UK time. As always, stay tuned for that, and of course keep an eye out for us next week at the Thursday evening at 8 PM UK time for the Mexican Grand Prix. Do not miss it. It should be another cracker. But with things done, I've been Daniel Hoggard. He's been Michael Edwards alongside me, and until next time, we'll see you later.